All right, so this is the Kevin Frankie interview, and this is just my opinion, but Jodi told Ruby that Kevin had sexual addictions because he looked at pornography. If he has a sexual addiction because he looks at pornography, 99% of all heterosexual men have an addiction and need mental help because of pornography. That doesn't make you twisted. Here's something going on with Jodi. She has a niece, Jessie, who has her own podcast. This is what she did to her niece growing up. She told all the people in the church, she told all the people in the community that Jessie had sexual addictions, and she was doing a bunch of things that I don't want to say on here. But if you get a chance, go over and look at Jodi Hildebrandt's podcast, and you'll get a whole new insight into Miss Jodi Hildebrandt. That chick, Jodi Hildebrandt, has some kind of sexual hang up or sexual deviance in her brain, because she says this with everyone, and it's come out into the news where different people, she told the wives that the husband had sexual this, sexual that, sexual this. She even made the same comment about Ruby Frankie's son, that he was molesting people in the community and in the home. And I'm telling you, there's something wrong with Jodi Hildebrandt's mind. She's got some weird, evil sexual hang-ups. That being said, listen what he says.
I understand that he's 18, living on his own, somewhere in Provo, and working and supporting himself.
What other kids went down to visit Jodi?
What other kids?
Yeah, did you send any of the other kids down to spend time with Jodi?
We didn't sit down to spend time with Jodi. They would meet on Zoom.
It must have been a conversation about the sexual issues with his son.
So when did Ruby and Jodi, to your knowledge, decide to collaborate, come together, and mesh lives? Because that's what's happened.
Well, they decided to start a business in 2021.
So while you and Ruby were together?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but there were, at that period it was pretty nebulous. I don't know.
What's that word mean?
It was just a lot of talk, and everyone solid plans. It was, let's start by doing podcasts together, and that's all I know. I know that they published a book together recently. You can find it on Amazon. It's not a secret.
Was the business thriving? Life was good between those two?
Well, not that I was aware.
Well, at some point, and again, I'm not digging into your life, but I'm trying to understand this. At some point,
They
kick you out.
When you talk about a business, thriving in terms of business and money, when we stopped paying passengers on YouTube, we lost 90% of our income. So we said that business was thriving. In my perspective, no. I don't think it ever was. After that.
Was that part of your guys' reason for separation after you guys ended 8 passengers?
There it is.
Was that
Here it is.
The reasons are
Jodi.
because of ways that I treated my wife, and
Bullshit.
and some of my own addictions that I was working through and seeking help on with pornography.
And there it is.
Thank you for sharing that.
I've made some wonderful progress.
Is that something you came to the realization that you needed help to work through things, right? Or is that something that Jodi helped you with?
This guy knows.
Maybe Ruby needed more. I'm trying to understand her
imagine that. Jodi saw it.
Frankly, I agree. This space has been exactly what I need to face my own addictions.
Wow.
Received support.
Jodi's powerful, I guess.
So the space has been very, very good for me.
There you go.
So when you stated that you and Ruby had this no contact that you guys just verbally agreed upon, was that an idea given by Jodi that she recommended you guys
Of course.
have that space
Yep.
and not contact one another?
I'm not aware of that. The invitation for me to leave and take space was from my wife.
Which came from Jodi.
While Jodi and Ruby were friends and collaborating and doing podcasts and showing.
Yep.
Well, you're the custodial parent of your children. I don't see why we can't explain to you why we're involved. So I don't
Here it
recall
goes.
the exact time, but sometime before 11 o'clock today, we received a phone call from 911 on our dispatch that a 12 to 13-year-old boy was knocking on doors in a neighborhood asking for food and water, that he was severely emaciated, that he had
What is emaciated?
skinny, scrawny, malnutrition, not enough food, not enough water to sustain life. So he had duct tape on his extremities, on his hands, on his ankles, and those were covering rope burns that were used to tie him down.
What the fuck?
Take a second
Yeah.
and think about what I just said. That's the condition of your son. Given that information, your son was taken to the hospital. A warrant has been applied and granted by the Department of Child and Family Services to remove both from your wife's care. So no one right now is going to have access to these two children
Tell them where they were found.
based on their physical condition. Do you understand that?
I understand.
Would you condone that behavior?
Come on, dude.
Would I condone that behavior?
That's my job. My job is to find out your knowledge of the treatment of these
Based on
precious
description,
children.
no. Again, I don't know the details or I don't know what's going on, but as you described that sounds horrible.
Disgusting. No human being should be treated like that.
Nope.
Okay.
That's my thoughts. But again, we might be different on that.
Dick.
We're going to sit here for a second, okay? We're going to go out and talk. I'm not saying you're still not free to go. Are you under arrest? Absolutely not. We just have lots of questions that we need to figure out. Lots. Okay?
Okay. Because
Your children are under medical care right now.
and what does that mean?
It means that you don't have access to them. My understanding is that they are, what is that?
They're in the custody of DCFS.
And they will be for the next 7
There's a medical hold on them right now. So for at least the next 72 hours, based on our understanding.
At least the next 70.
during observation. They're being watched.
DCFS is going to provide you that information and they can better answer your questions along those lines. That's handled through them. Okay? So we'll be back.
So I want you to think about some things though. I don't know. Listen to me.
Look, there's the
Listen
guy.
to me.
Look at him.
I want you to think about that for a minute.
You can see retail water.
Don't have no idea where they're at.
The two older kids. PM's house.
Okay, we're gonna hop out here. We'll be back in a minute. Okay? That's still recording audio and video. Okay, so if you would don't make any phone calls.